CNBC TV 18, celebrating 15 years of leadership.
Good evening. Welcome to Markets Today. I'm Lata Venkatesh and with me is Ekta Batra, and both of us have just put behind the 7th consecutive session of the markets ending in a new high. Absolutely rapturous markets, and at this point in time the markets are buoyed by the fact that the ECB gave them liquidity, but each day it's a different reason. The point is these markets have a mind of their own, and that mind is asking them to move up.
Yes, absolutely, Lata. And Bank Nifty for this week is up 4.4%, complete outperformance. But all that and more in the next 30 minutes. These are top stories this evening. Markets gained for the 7th consecutive session, with the Nifty ending above 8,800 for the first time ever. Midcaps had a choppier session, however, but managed to end in the green. However, the advance decline ratio was in favor of the declines. For the week, the frontline indices gained around 4%, with the Bank Nifty outperforming with a gain of 4.4%.
Gains were broad-based for the frontliners today, with Tata Power ending as the top gainer on the Nifty, followed by DLF and Kane. Tata Motors made a fresh high, gaining over 3.5%. In fact, it has gained 11% for the week. Other stocks that gained notched up smart gains for the week were Bharti Airtel up 12%, Axis Bank up close to 10%, and Sun Pharma up 9%.
From the broader market, Suzlon ended in the red for the second consecutive day with a loss of 7% today. Ipca Labs was weak, reacting to the US FDA converting its observations into an import alert at the Ratlam facility. Conversely, Spark gained 68% on a week-to-date basis.
Well, those were the key highlights, and here are the experts that we have lined up on the show for you today. Arvind Sanger of Geosphere Capital will give us his outlook for Indian markets. Saurabh Mukherjee of Ambit Capital will also talk about the markets and his expectations from the budget. We also get you a whole host of experts to analyze the outcome, or rather the impact of the ECB's decision to print 1.14 trillion euros.
Well, first up, straight to the day's trading action. Records were shattered for the 4th consecutive day on Dalal Street as the European Central Bank's quantitative easing program got the bulls excited on Dalal Street. That's for today. Anuj Singhal is here with the day's trading action. Anuj, 9,000 and 30,000 don't seem very far away.
Well, 9,000 and 30,000 are just numbers now, which, we're practically there. But it was more of the same today. The blue chips led the way. The mid-caps underperformed a bit. Really, it's a big liquidity-driven rally which is propelling the market, and large part of that is going to index stocks at this point in time. The ECB move is something that the market tried to factor in yesterday itself, and today, of course, the market reacted, and boy, it reacted really in a big way. If you take a look at the Sensex and the Nifty, in fact, the Nifty ending above 8,800 and now within 180 points or within 200 points of hitting that 9,000 mark. Let's talk about some stocks today. It was not a sector-specific trend today. A lot of stocks gained ground today. So you had a Tata Power that was up 7%, DLF was up 5%, and Cipla was up 3.5%. Then you had stocks like Bharti, KN, two of the ranked underperformers, actually coming back and making big moves. Hindustan Unilever, another 2% up move on that particular stock. Among the heavyweights, the support came in from 3 stocks. You had Larsen & Toubro, HDFC Bank, and Tata Motors. All these stocks were up between 2 to 4% in today's trade. There were some stray losers in today's trade, mostly on profit booking. Stocks like Punjab National Bank, GAIL, and BHEL, they were all down about 2% or so. Outside the index, there were some big winners, though the advance decline ratio was in favor of the declines, but you still had big winners. Stocks like Spark, which was really the stock of the week, up some 70% this week. Adani Enterprises and Adani Power, both were up close to 8%. And on the losing side, you had some stocks like Suzlon, which was the top traded counter again, was down 7%. M&M Financials, which has been derated this week, down 20% or so. And India Cement, that was down about 3%. So clearly, the steroids continue for the bulls. And at this point in time, it looks like even the last remaining bear has been taken out. And levels, as I said, have become meaningless. But next week is expiry week. And bulls would believe that the momentum can carry the Nifty towards that 9,000 mark.
Prophetic words, Anuj. Thanks a lot for that, and have a great weekend. Actually, Anuj put it in a nutshell. Now, the last remaining bear has also gotten converted. And that is seen from the fact that now you've got a sector rotation. The PSU banks are now giving up their leadership. But the private sector banks continue to maintain their leadership. You'll see most of the private sector banks still among the gainers. You're seeing capital goods stocks and infra coming out and perform. That was not one of the performing sectors in the last 4 to 6 weeks. But now you've got the Tata Power stock leading the rally today. And generally, the Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports, those kinds of infrastructure-related stocks doing well for the week and for the day itself. It's really a sector rotation and market looking for new winners and trying to take out a little bit of profit from the old winners. But looks like, for the moment at least, the momentum will continue at least up until the budget.
Okay, well, time now for some more market perspective then. Arvind Sanger, Managing Partner at Geosphere Capital Management, expects a much bigger boost to Indian equities post the European Central Bank move. He also expects to see 20% growth in earnings in 2015.
I frankly remain skeptical that we're going to see any dramatic economic acceleration in Europe from QE. We will probably get some modest help, but that liquidity is going to go hunting for where growth is more visible. And right now, obviously, India and US are the two places I feel more comfortable betting on the India growth. US with a stronger dollar is facing a little bit of a headwind in terms of the growth dynamics, facing some negative challenges. We can continue to see some rally off this QE. The Nifty today is at 18, high 18 or 1800s. There's no reason it couldn't be in the 2200, so about a 20% upside by the end of the year. And frankly, it could exceed that if we see one of the things that has been somewhat surprising, which is why I think you could get a bit of a rubber band effect, is that the economic recovery in India has been extremely sluggish for the last 9 months. While we've heard a lot of optimism, but we haven't seen follow through. I think this could be a little bit of those spring-loaded effect, where you could see a very sharp rebound when it starts to get going. And if that happens, then, back end of the year, you could see even bigger moves because the earnings recovery could be much faster than people expect. I think one of the clear signals we need to get is, a more realistic pathway in terms of some of the major issues, whether it is subsidies or it is capex or other investment by the government. Which way is the government going in terms of its major priorities, and the budget provides some framework for that. I'm hoping for a more comprehensive medium to long-term perspective presented by this budget.
Right, those are, of course, signs of optimism. Now for all the action for the day from the futures and options space, let's cut across to Nigel D'Souza.
Well, in the derivatives market, put trading has made you big money, and today as well, that was perfectly replicated. So the 8,800 put, that continues to see riding interest. In fact, in today's trading session, the premium fell by close to around 50%. The 8,850 put as well did see some riding. That's for traders that believe that 8,800 level will hold for this particular series. So clearly that 8,750 to around that 8,000 mark, that becomes the near-term support for the Nifty. The 8,600 call buyers, they unwound their position in today's trade. They're taking on big money. And the 8,900 call as well as the 8,950 call, today in fact it appeared that there was some writing at that level, because the Nifty ended high by close to around 70 points odd, but the premiums on those two strikes didn't move much. So in the near term we could see that 8,900 level as a near term resistance for the Nifty. Individual stocks are in focus. Adani Enterprises, big buying being seen on that counter. Tata Power as well did see big buying, while Adani Power did come in for a bit of a short covering bounce. HDFC Bank as well did see a bit of a short covering bounce in trade today, while Reliance Power, that one as well did see a short covering bounce. Take a look at some of those other stocks that are moving around. Reliance Communications joined the party. That one saw a short covering bounce. It ended high by close to around 3%, while Mahindra and Mahindra Financial Services did get sold into all through the week. In fact, that one, even in today's trading session, was getting shorted. Apollo Tyres as well did see some shorting interest.
Okay, Nigel, well, over the last few days, however, the markets have witnessed a mammoth rally with records being broken and set afresh each day. Before we let you go and enjoy your weekend, give us a list of the stocks that led the way and the ones that bucked the trend.
Well, it's been a super last 12 trading sessions because the Nifty has gained more than 700 points. The Bank Nifty has put on 1,800 points. And the Sensex, hold your breath, it's up more than 2,000 points. Take a look at some of those Nifty gainers. The big heavyweights over there, HDFC, L&T, Infosys, as well as ICICI Bank. All of them have given you gains in excess of around 10%. Shifting focus, then moving to the defensive names. The best outperforming stock, in fact, this year itself has been Hindustan Unilever. That stock has defied gravity. It's up more than 20%. Add to the list something like an Asian Paints, Wipro, as well as HCL Tech. Then moving to the cement stocks on the back of some price hikes that were seen. Ultratech Cement, the big boy there, stands out. That one has gained roughly around 18%. Ambuja Cement as well as ACC keeping pace, giving you gains in excess of around 13 to 15%. Pharma stocks as well, they have been part of the rally. So Sun Pharma, one of the best performers in the last few years, that's given you gains in excess of around 15%, while Cipla and Dr. Reddy's, they are part of the gainers. The banking and financial stocks, that they call for attention. So Axis Bank as well as IDFC, both of them standout performers for you up on your screen. Other gainers include the likes of Tata Motors. In fact, that one saw a big run on the final day of the week. That one, in fact, has given you 19% returns, while GLF and Tata Power, and both of them, in fact, have given you good gains. On the flip side, though, there have been some losers. So Hero MotoCorp has given you cuts in excess of around 4%, and the metal stocks, they have got a bit of a knock. But the mid-cap space, the party over there is better, in fact. If you just look at it, Shree Cement has gained more than 20%. Kansai and Nerulac as well has given you returns in excess of around 20%, while TV18 Broadcast, that one, in fact, is the owner and producer of the channel that you're watching. That one as well has given you gains of around 20%. HDIL, Max India, all of them giving you big gains. We have some losers, though. Mahindra & Mahindra Financial Services, for the week itself, the stock was down close to around 20%, while Ipca Labs and Petronet, both of them are sitting with cuts of around 10%. But to sum things up, last 12 trading sessions, Nifty up 700 points, Bulls fully in control.
Oh, absolutely. I can notice a cheer in the voice exuding from Nigel D'Souza. Well, let's shift focus to cooler climes, Davos. The global mood is definitely bullish on India in that Swiss capital. Sandeep Nayak of General Atlantic is the guest whom we have showcased for you. He expects the bull run in India to continue for the next 5 to 10 years. He expects earnings to drive the markets in the near term.
People, as soon as they start seeing the green shoots, the money starts going to flowing. And there's so much to do in India, be it infrastructure, be it real estate, be it the consumer side, financial services side, IT services side, on the technology side, that we can see a 5 to 10 year bull run in India, which is what we all expect to see. We can sense that India is finally arriving, at least from the hope and the expectation standpoint. Has it delivered? We still need to deliver. If you look at corporate earnings have been flat so far. But we believe that second half of the year is going to show much more results. If you look at what the government has been doing, we're seeing actual action on the ground. This is from even personal interactions that we've had as a firm, but also in terms of what's happening with decision making, the efficiency with which people are making decisions, the quickness with which people are making decisions. So if you put all that together, and if you look at some of the reforms that have been put in place, it seems that India has arrived. So, you know, India always belonged in the future. I think today the future belongs to India.
Ooh, okay, well, some positive comments coming in, and it continues.
Well put.
It continues. The bullish voices from Nigel unurged the bullish voices from General Atlantic. But moving on, European Central Bank QE spurs Asian markets into a higher gear. In today's trading session, in fact, the Japanese Nikkei rallied over 1%. The Shanghai Composite was up 0.3%, while the Hang Seng in Hong Kong also gained close to 1.5%. The South Korean Kospi also ended with strong gains in today's trading session. Let's in fact listen in to some global experts on what they make of the European Central Bank move and the way ahead for the global markets.
2015 will be a year of ample global liquidity, no credit crunch, even though the US might be raising rates in the second half. That is supportive of risk assets generally and equity markets across the globe, as you say. Year to date, I think the stocks index until yesterday was up about 6%, whilst the S&P was flat. So definitely European equities have been in the lead. And that's quite natural, I think, when the stimulus is taking place in an economy where expectations have been very low. It doesn't take much good news now on the Eurozone economy, I think, to see further outperformance from European equities relative to the S&P 500.
When it comes to emerging markets, India will be very close to the top. In fact, in our universe, it will be the #1 market to be in. Simply because India does not depend on QE, it does not depend on China. It's a story of its own. Well, there are very strong deflationary pressures in the global economy. It's not only because commodity prices are down, there are secular forces at work here as well. So commodities will probably not stage any pullback or any rally anytime soon. Maybe a rally, but not a new bull market, let me put it this way.
I think that actually one of the key things with the ECB's latest move is it's really shifted sentiment. It is going to help get global investors out of almost a rut of sentiment where it's always been this will they or won't they do anything. And we know now that the ECB is sort of all in on trying to support economic growth and a return to their 2% inflation target.
Well, those are some voices, and I'm sure we are going to discuss the European Central Bank's massive quantitative easing for many more weeks and months to come. But for the moment, we have to take a break. Coming up, more market opinion. We'll also get you some cues to watch out for next week.